5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 400 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Thirsty Thursday. We are rolling through our work week. Only a couple days left here, today, tomorrow, and then a huge upcoming weekend here for college football and the NFL as we're getting kind of deep into the season here, guys. So we're going to see if we can post a winning day on a Thirsty Thursday for today. I do have a 3-pack of sweats for you. Obviously, we have a huge Thursday night football game tonight between, as you know, the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. We've seen this line kind of go back and forth, and I just saw the total tick up a little bit. He was sitting pretty much 43.5 all day, just got up to 44, 44.5. But I do have a play here on the side, so stay tuned for a full breakdown of Thursday Night Football. Get your Prime account ready to roll here for tonight. And then 2 plays in college basketball. I'm going to money line a short favorite and a good sharp dog to fave line move. And then I'm going to take points with a dog here and a big heavily bet game with a line move here for tonight. So 2 college basketball plays, 1 NFL play, and then also I wanted to mention a college play for Saturday night. I know it's a couple days away, but I want to hit on it today because last night we did the Rhythm Rundown. It was a Wednesday edition instead of Thursday. Had to do it a day early, but talked a lot through a bunch of games with my buddy Kate Harper, and we landed on one in particular that we both really liked from a data-driven perspective, really good rhythm edge, and you probably want to jump on this now before you lose the hook. So I'll give you that gross, disgusting hazmat play in primetime later in the pod coming up for Saturday night. Now, looking back toward last night, guys, 1-2, minus 1.2 units. Had a great hit with Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio got it done for the team. Remember, they went from dog to fave, plus 1.5 to minus 2.5. They were up big. Then they pretty much coughed it up. It was a tied game, and then they really pulled away second half, third and fourth quarter. So Miami, Ohio with a good 37-20 victory for us. The frustrating one was Kent State because we beat the closing line there, got Kent State plus 8.5. Did you guys notice they closed plus 7.5? Some books even down to 7. So we did our part, got a great number, diagnosed that move, and jumped on it at the correct time, but they ended up losing by 12 points. So they gave up a touchdown late, which kind of sunk us for that one. But hey, tells us we got our finger on the pulse, just couldn't get Kent State Golden Flashes to come through. And then the other loser in college basketball, this was a game that was pretty exciting to watch, but came up short, Illinois. Illinois ended up losing 90-86. High-scoring game, of course, but I really like the fact that Ken Palm had Illinois by 6. So to me, you're money lining a short favorite. That's a pretty good edge. But I got a little worried because after the pod, we did see Illinois go from minus 3.5, minus 3, down to 2.5 or 2. So that late money was breaking away from us, and that was not a good sign. And Alabama ended up playing a really good second half, pulling away. Illinois was up by 1 at halftime, and I'm like, okay, we might get lucky here, eke by, even though the late move was against us. But nope, the late move ended up being the right one there, as the line moved further toward the Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide won 90-86. So either way, guys, 1-2 night. See if we can bounce back, post a 2-1 night here for Thursday night. Now, that being said, let's start off with biggest game of the night. Doesn't mean you put 10 units on it, but it's the one that I'm most excited to sweat, even though I'm really excited about these college games as well. But looking toward the Bills and the Houston Texans, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Let's set the stage, talk splits, system matches, line moves, and I'll give you my play for this one. So Bills come in 7-3 on the year. They've won 3 of their last 4. The only loser in there was a really weird one at Miami, where they were a big favorite and lost like 30-13. But they did just beat the Buccaneers 44-32. Josh Allen, hope he didn't play him in fantasy because he absolutely just tore it up. I think he had 6 touchdowns. But they covered that game as a 6.5-point home favorite. Meanwhile, the Texans, 5-5. They've won 3 of their last 4. They've won 2 in a row with Davis Mills. They beat the Titans 16-13 last week, but good for us. Titans covered the plus 5.5. Now, what have we seen across the market? Well, this game opened Buffalo as low as a 2.5-point road favorite, and that was a pretty early opener and immediately got bet up because we found out that C.J. Stroud would remain out and it would continue to be Davis Mills under center. And the public also, regardless of the quarterback, thinks this line is way too short for Buffalo. So 80% of spread bets at DraftKings are laying it with the Bills tonight. Now, the combination of the quarterback switch, continued Davis Mills in place of Stroud, along with this massive public betting on Buffalo, we've now seen the Bills go up from -2.5 all the way up to -6. But what's notable to me is that once we got to the key number of 6, you really never got up to 6.5. And I was waiting on this one because as we were doing the rhythm rundown last night, it was Bills -6, and we had a lot of system matches on Houston. I'm saying to myself, okay, public loves Buffalo, 80% of tickets. Let me try to get greedy. Let me wait out and try to get a hook there, a +6.5. Well, I went to bed pretty late after sweating all the games. It was still at 6. I woke up this morning. I saw it creep down to 5.5, and it's been 5.5 all day. So if you were like me trying to wait for the hook on Houston 6.5, never happened. In a way, that's a bad thing because you can't get the hook, but it's also kind of a good thing because it tells you that there was a lot of money on Houston to cause that 6.5 never to appear, and then the 6 to get down to 5.5. So over the last 24 hours here, you've seen this line tick back in favor of Houston, +6 down to +5.5. Now, in the betting world, 5.5 is kind of a dead number. It's kind of no man's land. So the important thing for me is, where is the next move? Because if this thing were to get down to 5, that would be a great sign for Houston as the game day movement is continuing to break further toward the Texans. But if we see it get back up to 6, obviously that's not a great sign for Houston. That would tell me that Buffalo's taking in further money closer to game time. Now I'm looking at the current odds right now. It's pretty much 5.5 across the board, and I'm really not seeing either side get juiced up. So it's pretty much -110 both sides. So in that regard, between now and kickoff tonight, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time, that's something to keep an eye out for. Obviously, I'm hoping it gets down to 5 because that'll be further smart money breaking toward Houston. But either way, guys, I'm going Houston here. Now, I love the fact that the late buyback is coming in their favor, +6 down to 5.5. I also love Houston in a bet against the public spot. Betting against the public, going against the drunk guys at the bar who are pounding Josh Allen overs and pounding the Bills and have every money line teaser and parlay tied with Buffalo. Well, they're getting 80% of tickets. That means Houston is very undervalued, only getting 20% of spread bets. So a great contrarian spot. Again, you wouldn't call this a reverse line move because you got to go off the opener. So it's more like a kind of buyback, buy low, inflated dog contrarian play. But if you look at Circa, 38% of spread bets on Houston, but it accounts for 87% of spread dollars. So you're very contrarian at DraftKings, but at Circa, pretty good split there. Low bets, higher dollars with big preponderance of smart money out in Vegas in the desert, taking Houston in the points, ideally at +6. Now, you look at some of these system matches, primetime dogs, 18 and 16 against the spread this year, 53%, 1% ROI. They are, since the start of 2020, 159 and 142 ATS, 53%, 1% ROI, so they're kind of right where they're supposed to be or where they've performed last few years. But if you layer in a few more angles, conference primetime dogs. So it's a primetime game, you're from the same conference. Here you'd be both from the AFC. Those teams are 17 and 9 against the spread, 65% with a 24% ROI this year, and they're 121 and 101 ATS, 55%, 5% ROI since 2020. Now, let's layer another angle here. If you're a primetime dog getting 5.5 or more, which would be the spot for Houston here, those teams are 9 and 5 against the spread, 64% this season, 22% ROI, and they're 73 and 53 ATS, 58% with an 11% ROI since 2020. Another angle to like Houston, another feather in their cap would be the fact that this is a low total game. I know it just ticked up 43.5 up to 44.5, but still relatively low total. So dog low total, fewer amount of expected points scored, makes it harder for that favorite to cover. You also look at Josh Allen in the spot. He's only 25 and 27 against the spread, 48% when favored by 5.5 or more. And then you also look at Josh Allen when favored by 5.5 or more in a conference game. He's only 16 and 20 against the spread, 44%. Texans, obviously, probably want to keep this a lower scoring game. They do have the number 1 defense in the NFL. They're only giving up 16.3 points per game. Bills giving up 22.9 points per game. Then you add in the rhythm system matches. I have 3 recommended plays on the Texans tonight. Rhythm plays are +3.9, +2, and +3.2. So if you can get, obviously a 6 would be your best price. I put in the +6 earlier today. If you check and sign up for the $4.99 a week best bets from Juice Reel, you would have gotten that 6. But now I'm looking at every book pretty much 5.5. I would wait and hold out for a 6. If you can't get it and starts to creep and get juice down to 5, then maybe you want to jump on the 5.5. But still, you're getting 5.5. Rhythm says it should be about a field goal game. Not a bad little edge there in favor of Houston. So I'm on Houston +6. Again, 5.5 might be your best price, but you want to kind of shop around and wait it out, see if it maybe ticks back up to 6, although I'm rooting for it to fall to 5 because I'll be further sharp money on Texans. The total, though, it was pretty much 43.5 the whole time. Some books got to 44 and came back down, and then just as I started to record the pod, it just got steamed up to 44.5. Now, the reason why I'm not playing it is you kind of got some angles on both sides. Like, I would lean over now just because the late money is breaking over, and typically game day money, big bets come in, limits are raised. That's kind of something or kind of a sign of further smart money in your favor. But listen to this. DraftKings has 57% bet, 67% dollars on the over, but Circa has 44% bet, 63% dollars on the under. Now, primetime unders have been good, 21-16, 57%, 8% ROI this year. Since the start of 2019, they're 211 and 152, 58%, 12% ROI. But then listen to this. Overs, 52% this year. They're 85 and 78. But when a low total of 44 or less, I guess now you're 44.5, but still those low totals, they are 35 and 25 to the over, 58% this year. Non-division overs are 55% this year. Texans, however, 7 and 3 to the under. Bills 5 and 5 to the total. So they're pretty much down the middle. So again, primetime under, I'm always down for a PT under, but line is ticking up, and we have seen some of these low totals go over. So I think when you're looking at playing a side or total and you have kind of a bunch of angles to go either way, I think the best thing to do is just lay off and not touch it. I will say Rhythm does recommend the over. I think they're around 45 points. So again, if you're making me gun to the head lean one way, I guess I'd lean a little over. But again, I don't really want to take a primetime over, so I'm not touching it. But fully admit, looks like this late afternoon movement is breaking toward the over. But for me, guys, let's hope a dog can bark. I got Texans +6. Hope you can get the 6 too. If not, 5.5, and try to wait it out. Now, let's go over to some college basketball because we got a pretty good slate tonight, around 35 games, and I found a couple games that caught my eye. So the first one that I want to hit on is a 7 o'clock game here for tonight. We got the Pitt Panthers playing UCF. And technically, this is a neutral site game, although it is in Florida, so it's kind of UCF quasi-home court. But what's notable to me, let's set the stage here first with both teams. The Panthers come in 4-1, just crushed Bucknell 84-50. UCF Knights also 4-1. They just beat Oakland 87-83. But to me, this is all about the line move, and it reminds me a little bit. I know we're crossing sports here. It reminds me a little bit of that Miami Ohio dog to fave yesterday. Remember, Miami Ohio went from +1.5 to -2.5. Well, we're seeing the same sort of thing in favor of Pittsburgh tonight. So even though this game is down in Florida, not far from UCF, we opened at a lot of shops Central Florida around a 1 or 1.5 point home favorite, or neutral site, I guess, technically. And now we flip to Pitt -1.5. And some books now juiced up, even going to 2. So pretty clear we got a dog to fave line move on Pittsburgh. What I like about Pittsburgh in addition, they're not contrarian, but they're also not popular. You have basically a 50-50 ticket split at DraftKings. Public doesn't know what to do. Kind of a short number. Both teams are 4-1. Do you play the favorite laying a short number, or do you take the dog getting points that's got the quasi-home court? Well, public doesn't know what to do here. However, dog to fave flip toward Pitt. And if you look at the DraftKings money line splits, 48% bets, 62% dollars on Pittsburgh to win the game. Now, in addition, you look at the Circa splits, the spread at Circa out in Vegas, 40% bets, 90% dollars on Pitt. So Pitt has a good split, 50-50 line move, but a good money line split at DK and a good spread split at Circa. I money line Pitt, got him -125. I believe that was, Fanatics. But some angles here to also like Pitt. One is their defense. Like, hopefully Pitt can really, kind of stymie UCF here tonight because they're only giving up 61 points per game. UCF is giving up 80 points per game. Their defensive efficiency ranks 47th in the country versus 104th for UCF. the effective field goal percentage. So can you make it hard on the other team? They rank 17th in the country versus 171st for UCF. And 2-point percentage allowed, 15th in the country versus 185th for UCF. So we have a dog to fave line move on Pitt. We have good splits. We got a money line short favorite opportunity. Much better defense. I'm going with the Pitt Panthers, hopefully to earn a victory. Again, you would hate to lay a 1.5, 2. They win by 1. You lose your bet. You lay a 2. They win by 2. You push. So let's go money line. Short favorite here, minus 125. Let's go Pitt Panthers. Next one for you. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight. One of the most heavily bet games of the night, Mississippi State and Kansas State. Once again, we got a couple good teams going head-to-head in this one. If you look at Kansas State so far, and by the way, this is the Hall of Fame Classic. So it's actually a neutral site, but it's taking place in Kansas City, Missouri. So it's kind of quasi-Kansas State home court. But Mississippi State comes in 2-1. They just beat Southeast Louisiana 75-68. K-State comes in 4-0. Just beat Tulsa 84-83. Kind of squeaked by them. But once again, sharp line move at play here. We open this game with Mississippi State, neutral site. They were favored at 1 point in the opener, minus 3.5. Well, guess what? Now this line is down to 2.5. So what does that tell us? It tells us smart money here, breaking toward K-State and the points, going from plus 3.5 down to plus 2.5. Also, if you look at the juice here, it's juiced up pretty heavily on the K-State side, plus 2.5, minus 115, minus 120. And I see Caesars is down to 2. So a pretty clear one-way movement in favor of K-State. Now, K-State at circa 80% bets, over 90% of the money. Ken Palm has K-State losing by 1. So if we're getting a 2.5, we're with the sharp line move and a little bit of an edge. Going to bank on K-State. If you haven't seen this guy play, PJ Haggerty. He's one of the top scorers in the country. He's played on 4 different teams in 4 years. This is new college sports in general. But TCU, Tulsa, Memphis, and now K-State. In the last 3 years, he's averaged over 20 points a game. So he could be a lottery pick. But anyway, K-State has the better effective field goal percentage. They are 7th in the country versus 111th for Mississippi State. Hoping that their 3-point shot can fall because they are 7th in the country in 3-point percentage, 102 for Mississippi State. Better free throw percentage is big when you're in a tight game, but 73% versus 71%, and kind of a dog who can score system match. Like if you're a dog and you're getting points, whether it's football or really any sport, basketball, if you can put up points and keep pace or backdoor cover, that's an advantage, or you want to keep it low scoring and cover the game. Well, here, K-State, they are averaging 94 points per game, 80 for Mississippi State. And again, it's technically a neutral site, but it's in Kansas City, which is not far from K-State, which is, I believe, is Manhattan. But anyway, I'm taking the points here with K-State. Plus 3.5 down to 2.5. Juice like it may go down to 2. Ken Palm's got him losing by 1. Better offense, quasi-home court advantage. Again, shop around, I got plus 2.5. I think I got minus 110. It was a little bit earlier today. Looks like minus 115 is your best price, but let's go K-State. How about you win the game? Don't make us sweat losing by 1 or 2. But let's go K-State 2.5, Pitt money line, and Houston Texans plus 6 or 5.5. Now, one game that I wanted to just hit on because I really haven't talked any weekend games here for college football, but as we were doing the Rhythm Rundown last night, myself and my buddy Kate Harper, we landed on a game that kind of got us both excited because it's so gross, but it looks pretty darn sharp and a good situational spot. So, Tennessee and Florida, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time Saturday night. Looks like obviously you got to take Tennessee, right? Tennessee is 7-3. They're ranked 20th in the country. Florida Gators 3-7, lost 4 of their last 5, fired their head coach. Tennessee, going for obviously a college football playoff opportunity. Florida really got nothing to play for. And Tennessee opened around -3, -3.5. We've then seen Tennessee get up to -4.5. And everyone's playing Tennessee. Tennessee is getting nearly 70% of spread bets at DraftKings. So public says Florida stinks this year. Tennessee's far better. Tennessee easily wins by 5 points or more. However, once we got to Tennessee -4.5, over the last 24 hours, we've seen a lot of sharp buyback on Florida, plus 4.5, dropping this line back down to 4. Now, I jumped on the 4.5 with Florida. A couple reasons I like Florida here. Number one, you're contrarian in a heavily bet primetime game. This is an ABC game, 7:30 p.m. Saturday night. They're only getting around 30% of tickets, but 70% of the money at DraftKings. You also have an unranked versus ranked opportunity. And if you look at the current prices here, this is why I wanted to at least mention this game today, because I don't know how much longer the Florida plus 4.5 is going to be up there. Because a lot of books are down to 4. I see one book down to 3.5, FanDuel. If you want to go gross Florida, inflated buyback play, you can still get plus 4.5, minus 115 at BetMGM or Fanatics, and ESPN Bet is plus 4.5, minus 120. But everyone else is getting down to 4. And really to put the little cherry on top here, Rhythm is a Green Star recommended Florida play, saying Florida should be plus 3.5. So 3.5 by Rhythm, you can get a 4.5. You're against the public. You're hopefully getting the best of the number. Again, Tennessee's got aspirations here to go deep, and they got a big game against Vanderbilt coming up. Florida's kind of got nothing to play for other than to be a spoiler. So maybe no pressure. Maybe they lose, but can you lose by 4 or less? I put in with a good rhythm edge a play on Florida. Chomp Chomp Gators plus 4.5. Just looks like a gross primetime spot opportunity. So I went Chomp Chomp 4.5. So that about does it for episode 400. 400. Can you believe it? It's a nice little, I don't know, take a step back. You grind in the arena every single day and then you hit 400 pods. I'm kind of proud of that because the pod is almost 2 years old at this point when I launched it. But anyway, guys, this is the part of the pod where we wrap things up. And I always start first by saying thank you to you out there listening. I appreciate you. I appreciate you take the time out of your busy life, your day. I know you got a lot going on, but you devote 20, 30 minutes to breaking down some sharp plays across the market. Whether you tail every play I mention or fade or pick and choose or sit back and like the breakdowns and maybe you find one play you like. Either way, I appreciate you guys tuning in. So if you'd like to help me grow the pod, if you enjoy the insights, please could you give this podcast a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes, as well as leaving a nice comment under the review tab and recommending the pod to a friend or click the follow button. That would also be pretty amazing. Next, if you enjoy this style of sports betting and you want to learn more about data-driven sports betting, I would love for you guys, especially with the holidays coming up, to go purchase my book. So I got a new book. Came out, I guess I can still call it new. It's about 3 months old at this point. But it's called the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook. And wouldn't you know it, right before I started the pod, Triumph Books, which is my publisher, they put out this really cool tweet. They said, get 50% off everything at Triumph Books with the code CHEERS2025 at checkout. This year has been hard enough. Let's make holiday shopping more manageable. Plus, stay tuned for our gift guide recommendations. So, my book, if you want to get it on Amazon.com, costs you $24. If you go and buy the book directly from Triumph, my publisher, and I tweeted this out at Josh_Insights, so you can just go to triumphbooks.com. You search the Everything Guide or the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook. You put in promo code CHEERS2025. Guess what? The book is now $12. So instead of $24, it's $12. So if you are looking to support your podcast, host here, your fellow author or your neighborhood author here, or maybe you want to get it as a gift for somebody, again, you're getting it half off with that promo code. So you can always just, again, go to my Twitter page at Josh_Insights and take advantage of that. But nice little stocking stuffer. Now you get it half off. And you can bring the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook or the Everything Guide to Sports Betting, my other book, to the sports book. I'll sign it for you. I'll buy you a beer or ginger ale, and we'll sweat some games together. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? My 2 favorite sports betting apps, Rhythm and Juice Reel, help me win. They're going to help you win because it's all based on data and making sharp plays with your head and not your heart. So in that vein, got to go download Rhythm for their AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props. And then you got to go download Juice Reel as well. Juice Reel, where there's a lot of great features. One, you can support the pod, get the All Systems Go best bets for $4.99 a week. And also get the Robo Jackson best bet picks, the sharp mush indicators, the arbitrage plays, the shop for the best line futures, all available when you download Juice Reel. So download Rhythm, download Juice Reel, give them a 5-star review in the App Store. Next, do you have a live odds page? If you don't have one, you need one. You got to go to oddslogic.com/Josh123. That'll give you a 7-day free trial, 50% off your first month of service. And Odds Logic is the best live odds page around because it's got all the major books, including the sharp global ones, first to post, first to move, and then you're going to be able to shop for the best line, identify Steam, and shop for, again, getting the best price, getting the hook, finding, Gators plus 4.5 instead of 4 or 3.5. But once again, give it a shot, oddslogic.com/Josh123 for, again, 7-day free trial, 50% off your first month. Next, have you given a shot to Novig yet? Well, if you haven't, now's the time, because Novig, you're going to get way better juice prices because you're going up against other bettors in an exchange, not against a sports book or a house who's going to charge you minus 115, minus 120 on the juice. So you're going to get better juice prices, minus 105, minus 106, plus 102, plus 104. And because of that, you can win at the same rate you would at a sports book, but make more money because you're risking less juice. Therefore, you're taking more on the take back when you win. But if you want to download Novig, and again, you win, you do well, you're not going to get booted. That's another advantage. Once you download the app, when you fund your account, you're just going to use the promo code JOSH123 for a 100% deposit match up to $25. So that about does it for episode 400 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast powered by Rhythm. This is the part of the pod where I leave you with two final thoughts. One, whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, at the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, the Nash in my neck of the woods in border of Nashua, New Hampshire, in Massachusetts, or out in the desert where the true grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, or Sweat and Sharp Contrarian plays jumping in the stadium swim pool when you cash a big ticket at Circa, wherever it may be. You're going to walk up to me, show me a nice Miami, Ohio Redhawks dog to fave sharp line move, and we'll be sweating some games here for tonight. So as always, guys, coming off a 1-2 or a 2-1, an 0-3 or a 3-0, a good night, a bad night, a terrible night, a fantastic night, mediocre, grinding, hot, cold, somewhere in the middle. We just got to stick with it, continue to play the system matches long term, continue to be disciplined with our bankroll management, flat betting, risking 1 unit per play. But if we can find the games that fit our model against the house, with the pros, against the public, flat bet, no parlays, get that CLV. If we can do that, we're going to be successful sports bettors. So have a great Thirsty Thursday, everybody. We'll be right back at it tomorrow for a big Fade the Public Friday edition. That'll be episode 401 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and have a great Thursday night.